I want to ask you something. How do you determine what is your value? And what I mean by that is this, right? If I'm shopping for houses, right? I can determine, okay, we can kind of determine, okay, well, what is the price tag of this house, right? And we can do the same thing. If I go to a certain car, if I go to a BMW, I can kind of determine, okay, well, this is how much this gonna cost. If I go to a Ferrari, this gonna be in this range. And if I go to a Toyota, I could expect it to be somewhere here. If I go to okay, so even our tennis shoes, all the way down to our clothes, our tennis shoes, right? If I get some shoes, I can determine maybe the Nike shoes will cost this amount, the Reebok shoes will cost this amount, or anything, cameras, even the camera that I'm shooting on right now, right? Canon have a set price and how much this costs, how much this costs. So I want to ask you something. How do you determine what is your value? How do you determine that? What do you think? I want to get your idea on this because we do it in a certain way. The world do it in a certain way. And by the world, I mean the common mindset is this, right? I don't know if you can hear that noise. I got so much noise in the background. We got some construction, but hopefully you can't hear it. But yes, right. We determine our value in this way, right? If I'm at the penthouse, if I'm living in a mansion, then my value is up here. If I'm under the bridge, then my value is down here, right? If I got a big job, a big time paying job that's paying me $1 million a year, then my value is somewhere up here. And then if I don't have no job, then my value is down here. Well, what if I lose that $1 million job? So does my value end up being down here now? How do we determine that? Well, I'm gonna tell you how we probably should determine that based on the way that God looks at it, right? And I'm gonna show you how it's not too far apart from the way we determine things nowadays, right? We determine, okay, well, the iPhone costs this amount, and my little regular phone costs this amount, right? It's cost the amount down here, and the iPhone is somewhere up here, right? So we determine that based on really the company that made it, based on the image that is on it, that little Apple sign that is on your laptop, that little Apple sign that is on your phone, determine what the price is gonna be, right? So even the same thing, like if I get some tennis shoes, if it's a Jordan tennis shoes, then because of that little sign that's on top of it, right? That little sign that's on top of it, that determines how much it costs. And if it's just a Nike sign that's on it, then that determines the price of it, right? So our whole system is based on that, right? If I got a house that I'm shopping for and the house is in this neighborhood, then it costs that much. But if it's in that neighborhood, then it costs that much. So all of those different things, the Canon got an image on top of it that say Canon on top of it, right? And Nikon have a Nikon sign on top of it. And because of that sign, that image that is on top of it, because of that Jordan image that's on top of it, that determine how much the thing is actually gonna cost, right? Well, let me tell you, it's funny that we have an image that is on us also. It's not this Adidas. I got this big Adidas. I'm talking about everything else, but I'm not even talking about this, right? Look at this big sign on top of this. That determined how much we're going to charge with it. If that sign wasn't on it, if it was just a black t-shirt, then it would be like, okay, it would cost maybe $1 or $2, right? But because it got that little sign on it, then it costs an extra $5. Now, it's not even about how much it costs to make the shirt. It probably costs like maybe $1 to make this or 10 cents to make it, right? Who knows, right? But what determines the value of it is the sign that is on top of it, right? Well, the image that is on top of it. Now, let me tell you this, right? We all have an image that has been imprinted on all of us, right? And that image is found, that statement is found in the Bible, right? The Bible says, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. Let them have dominion, right? Okay, so God put his image on us, right? And because his image is on us, whether we walk in that image or not, that decide our value. So that means in essence, well, we shouldn't be determining our value and our worth based on the cars that we drive, based on the job that I have, or based on the house that I'm in, or based on the house that I'm not in, if I'm under the bridge, right? We should understand that our value has already been set. And our value, my value and your value, is pretty much the same. We all are valuable in the eyes of God, because we all have His image imprinted on us, whether we walk in that image or not. So then maybe that will make you think twice about how you look at people that might be doing a little bit less than you are. Or maybe you are not idolize people that are doing a lot better than you are. Because we understand that our value and our image has been set by God. And God says this, which is amazing, which is crazy, right? He says, what can a man give in return for his soul? Nothing. So what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? So that's telling you that there's nothing that you can possess, there's nothing that you can have, there's nothing that you can get that is more valuable than your soul. And that's the soul of everybody. And he top it off with this, right? He says, you know what? Your soul is so important. You are so important and so valuable to me that I'm willing to come down from where I'm at, to come down here and die the most violent death for you, that I may rescue you. That's how valuable I think you are. And I'm just thinking about this right now, right? Suppose the house is burning and it's burning and it's burning and you're trapped inside of the house. And somebody decide that, you know what, I'm going to risk my life to get in there just to save you. And that person running there and they getting scraped, they getting burned, but they come in there, they rescue you out of that house. That person just told you something about yourself. That they believe that you have some type of value, because if they wouldn't go in there for a pair of socks that they thought mean nothing. So let me go back to what I was talking about before I get off track, right? Your image has been determined by God already. So don't start feeling like you're nobody or you're nothing because you don't have the things that you believe you should have, or because you don't think you don't have the things that your neighbor have, or because you don't have a college degree, or because you feel like all you have is a GED. Well, that might determine something when it comes to the market, as far as like, you know, from a economic standpoint, but it doesn't determine your value when it comes to how God looks at us and how we should look at one another. Because if we looked at one another the way that we should, then we'll love one another in a proper way. The way that God wants us to love one another. The way that God wants us to appreciate one another. The way that God wants us to value one another. Because your value has been set already. Can you believe that? The one that created the heavens and the earth. The one that created everything that you can see. That person's image has been imprinted on you like this. Like this is imprinted on this shirt. That is an amazing way to think. I hope I challenge you I shift you a little bit, to maybe just a little bit to think a little bit different when it comes to how you view yourself and how you view somebody that is at the top, or how you view somebody that you would consider to be at the bottom. Maybe you have a little bit more love and a little bit more patience when you deal with somebody else, right? Because we understand that we all are valuable. We all are precious in the eyes of God. God bless you.